Hey there, welcome to MojoPlays. My name is Jeffrey. So in today's video, I'll be counting down the 10 hardest, most challenging Game Boy Advance games that will truly test your handheld gaming mettle. The games on this rundown cover a variety of genres, with each one having something in common. You probably guessed it, they are super duper hard. So yeah, good luck. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Yggdra Union will never fight alone. Tactical role-playing games are often synonymous with steep difficulty, with this point being extremely evident in Yggdra Union. Featuring a blend of top-down unit management, turn-based battles, strategic positioning and placement, real-time segments, and a unique card-based system, Yggdra Union's challenge level mostly come from its multi-layered gameplay elements that need to be understood in order to achieve victory in battle. Getting a grasp on each character's attributes, skills, and abilities in tandem with card elements are of the utmost importance as you and your myriad companions work to reclaim your kingdom. It's a deeply engrossing tactical RPG that rewards those who put in the time to master its many systems. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Originally conceived back in 1991, Super Ghouls and Ghosts eventually made its way to the GBA in 2002. Fans of cartoony, horror-infused action platforming have a lot to sink their teeth into with this handheld version of a beloved yet punishing classic. The setup is quite simple, really. Guide King Arthur through the Ghoul realm in order to save Princess Guinevere. However, this simple premise belies an incredibly punishing side-scroller. Each stage is brimming with relentless baddies, plentiful traps, hidden hazards, and more. So it's up to you as King Arthur to deal with these elements in order to inch forward through the tough-as-nails levels. Even with multiple difficulty settings, Super Ghouls and Ghosts will test your handheld gaming mettle. Metal Slug Advance. Most gamers don't really consider any Metal Slug game to be easy, with Metal Slug Advance being one of the more challenging ones out there. This run-and-gun side-scrolling action game doesn't hold back punches, or bullets for that matter. Stepping into the boots of either Walter Ryan or Tyra Elson, players must have eyes in the back of their head in order to deal with the onslaught of frenetic battles that ensue in each of the game's varied stages. While Walter and Tyra do indeed have plenty of firepower and ammunition at their disposal, trying to fire away at baddies while avoiding attacks from all angles is certainly no easy feat. This GBA outing mixes up the traditional Metal Slug gameplay by adding in a new life bar system that needs to be managed in tandem with a card collecting system. This is one heck of a rewarding game, should you be up for the challenge. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. As previously mentioned with the Yggdra Union entry, tactics games are downright punishing most of the time. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is another one of those tactical RPGs that might look cartoony and whimsical on the surface, but it provides plenty of challenge for those interested. This follow-up to the OG Final Fantasy Tactics tasks our protagonists with exploring a realm that resembles their own hometown of St. Ivalice. In this alternate dimension, which they access via a magical ancient book, our heroes must battle many different denizens while trying to find a way back to the real world. The tactical battles in this GBA game are deeply challenging, since you need to get a solid grasp on each character's stats, skills, and attributes, while also constantly thinking about placement and positioning. Mega Man 02. It's Mega Man, need we say more? Almost every single Mega Man game is tough, but 2003's Mega Man Zero 2 really takes the sci-fi futuristic cake here. This action platformer is a direct follow-up to the original Mega Man Zero, this time tasking Zero to stop the nefarious plots of Neo Arcadia. The action in the sequel is non-stop and incredibly frenetic. Zero does have plentiful tools in his arsenal, such as blasters, the chain rod, cyber elves, forms, and EX skills. However, knowing when and where to use these elements is critical to achieve victory in each stage. And of course, the game's bosses are a real doozy, testing players' skills, wits, and mettle. Astro Boy Omega Factor. You gotta love a good old beat-em-up game, and Astro Boy Omega Factor is here to provide a good time for fans of the genre. But you better be ready for a tough-as-nails game, despite the cartoony veneer. Based on the anime and manga series, this GBA outing for Astro Boy has plenty of action in each of the game's many stages. Pummeling each of the game's robotic enemies with punches, kicks, aerial attacks, and laser blasts is a heck of a good time. However, there's always so much going on at any given time that it can be hard to stay alive for long. Fortunately, Astro Boy is able to utilize charged up special moves and his rocket boosters to zip around stages and away from baddies for better positioning. Dokapon Monster Hunter. Have you ever wanted to become a licensed adventurer in a fantasy world? Well, if you answered yes to that question, then the world of Dokano Island awaits you. Dokapon Monster Hunter thrusts players into the shoes of a plucky wannabe adventurer who must defeat multitudes of monsters in order to prove his worth. This unique game fuses turn-based, card-based battles with a rock-paper-scissors mechanic that requires strategy and tactful thinking. Knowing when to take action or when to hold back during battles is what makes Dokapon Monster Hunter challenging, since it's not easy as it sounds on paper. However, once you do defeat a monster, you can collect it to add to your roster of fighters for future battles. Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade. Is any Fire Emblem game actually easy? Well, we don't really think so, but the Blazing Blade for the GBA takes things up multiple notches. The Blazing Blade, which is also simply just known as Fire Emblem, was actually the first game in the Venerable series to have an international release, and is the direct follow-up to the Binding Blade. Like Fire Emblem games past, present, and future, the Blazing Blade's steep difficulty lies in its diverse turn-based strategic battles. You, as Lyn and Hector, are essentially master tacticians who must command an army of combatants via proper placement and positioning, weapon and skill usage, defensive maneuvers, and more. It's like a 4D game of chess where one wrong move could spell defeat. Metroid Fusion. Samus is back at it in this intergalactic Game Boy Advance experience, one that will push your Metroidvania skills to the breaking point at times. While most Metroid games are tough, sure, Fusion makes other entries in the series look quite easy by comparison. Despite the game adopting a mission-based structure, thereby making it a bit more linear, it ups the challenge level with punishing enemies, hardcore platforming, and pummeling bosses. The overall gameplay does feel very similar to other 2D Metroid games, but Fusion just pumps up the challenge level tenfold. Samus is, of course, extremely capable, with plenty of firepower at her disposal. However, each zone requires new ways of thinking in order to progress, especially when it comes to the game's tricky puzzles. Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Yeah, this one's a real doozy, you've been warned. Castlevania Circle of the Moon might not be the most lauded 2D Castlevania game around, but my goodness, it's so darn challenging, even by Castlevania standards. As Nathan Graves, players must explore the spooky castle while defeating creatures of the night with his handy whip, some holy water, cross, daggers, and more. Nathan is out for revenge since his parents died while banishing Dracula, thus making his mission all the more personal. Circle of the Moon adds some light RPG elements, which helps Nathan become stronger as he progresses. Like most similar 2D Castlevania games, Circle of the Moon can often hinder your progress through the castle's labyrinthian maze-like layout and tough as coffin nails boss battles. Good luck out there, you'll need it. So, do you agree with our picks for this list? There are plentiful tough as nails Game Boy Advance games out there. Which ones have you found the most challenging? Be sure to let us know in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you. The Game Boy Advance has plenty of challenging games to choose from. Which ones did we miss on our list? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.